Hi, YouTube. It's Angela. We are going to read on the energy of lack this week. Loss, lack, fear, those kind of sort of energies that get us feeling stuck at times, right? Because of our focus on what isn't there. So yeah, the first card that I pulled, I'm pulling from a few decks, and the first one is coming from the Priestess of Light. I love to always show you the decks in case you're interested in finding them. The card I pulled is Loss and Lack, focused on fear or victimization. So there are a couple of ways, loss, like a physical loss, like the losing, losing a loved one, having them pass on, or maybe someone moves far away, your support system kind of dismantles, a relationship ends, but also the focus on the lack, right? The loss may, trigger the focus on lack. And what else don't I have? Where else am I not getting support? What else am I going to lose, right? Keeping your mind set and focused on those things that have gone away, or those things that weren't achieved, or those things that you had to forego and give up. Keeping your mind focused on that creates more sense of lack as well, right? So we know what we think, we produce. We sort of create our experience through our thoughts. And if we have repetitive thoughts of lack and loss, and I don't have the support, and so moved away, and if you continue to focus on that, you'll get more of a sense of what you don't have, which is the opposite of forward movement and developing our spirit, to keep evolving, right? That doesn't create evolving. So and fear, just being able to be willing to make different choices, to have different thoughts, to redefine your power in this way. I love to use the visual that pretend like this whole game of life is like a stage show, like a play on stage, and you're the actor, right? And as the actor, you're feeling everything, you're going through all the movement, you're if it is a situation of loss and lack, you're really feeling that. And I don't know how to get out of this because I'm the player in this game, right? Instead, it's kind of calling for you to shift your focus to becoming the audience, or the director even, and the one who gets to make the choices of what move I make next, and how I proceed to heal this. Become like that. That's more empowering in that way. If you think of yourself as the actor and things are happening to you and you can't really get out of it, that's more victim mentality. And what we're trying to do is transform that as much as we can into a sense of empowerment, that the choices I make create the life that I experience, and therefore I can make choices to get myself out of this, right? Out of whatever this dip in energy is. So shifting to that, knowing that you can make choices to move from this feeling of loss or victimization. I pulled Zen tarot cards to clarify each of these oracles that we're pulling. And both of the cards I pulled to go with loss and lack are mental energies. Both of these cards represent our mind, and how our mind contributes sometimes to the focus on lack. These are the only two mental cards that I pulled in this whole run of cards. So interesting that they both came in the beginning here with the sense of victimization. I pulled comparison. That's, what do we say? The comparison is the thief of joy, for sure. If you're using that to further justify what you don't have, or what is not moving in your life, or what isn't happening, and so gets to see movement in their life, and they're they're not a victim, and the way I see it, they're not a victim and I am, or whatever. That's a lot of mental gymnastics that's going on in your mind. And it's hard to break that loop sometimes, because with our thoughts, right? Repeated thoughts, if you repeat them often enough, they become a belief, right? So all the things that you believe are really just repeated thoughts that have established themselves within your being. You have the power to change that always. It feels a little bit impossible sometimes, but it isn't. And that's what brings us to our next mental energy card, and that is fighting. The fighting through it, the pushing through these habits of focusing on loss and focusing on the lack is going to be important. But also, most importantly, if you see these two figures in the clouds here, and I guess I'm just taking this as it's this guy's imagination. He's all armored up and ready to be defensive and fight off intrusive negative energy. But in the clouds there is what I'm taking as it's representative of what's going on in his mind. He's fighting himself. He's fighting his own energy in order to push off the feelings of lack. So basically, the synopsis of that is, yes, sometimes we grieve and we find ourselves in a place of lack, in a place of loss. Yes. Then the next question is, how much are you going to focus on that? How long will you take to finally see that you make a new choice to break that pattern and to create a new path? It's completely up to you, all of it. And yeah, so this is all in general, right? We know these readings are general, and a general snapshot of energies that could be present. So I know that there are circumstances where that sense of loss or sense of lack really leaves us devastated. And the same patterning applies as far as shifting our focus to that which is possible instead of that which is impossible. But the timing, it may not be a quick shift. It may not be a sudden realization and, oh, okay, I just have to change my thoughts, right? This could be a very trying journey for some of us. So I don't want to make light of it, but we only have so much time here. So that is just established that the sense of loss and the sense of lack is created by our own thoughts and the way we relate to the course and the pattern of our life. The next card's interesting. I pulled it from this deck. It's called Herbal Astrology, and it works with all plant life and herbs. And I pulled lavender. And lavender is the little description on the label there says weaver. So, lavender historically, this card represents a lot, right? It represents the energy of calm, because lavender is known to have a calming effect on your nervous system, and it's a relaxant, and it promotes sleep, helps relieve pain, it helps boost your mood, right? The essence of lavender. So we can take this either energetically to just sort of focus on the energy of lavender, or actually get yourself some lavender oil or lavender plant, and inhaling it is like a really good way to increase focus and relieve your stress and help with some, with clarity. And so maybe get yourself some essential oils and run them through the diffuser, or, place them, put a couple drops of oil on your body so you're reminded of that centering, calming, creative effect that lavender may have on your system. It's interesting that from that loss and lack and feeling of negativity, and I don't have what it takes, we're reminded that a lot of that is our own mind creating that energy. And so maybe turn to something tangible that can help at least tone it down a little bit, at least, tone down the questions and the worries in your mind that there's not enough, and I don't have what it takes, and I lost this, so now I'm nowhere, or whatever, that stressful energy that gets generated. Focus on the calming energy of lavender. And the Zen cards I pulled with that are courage. I love that because it's a plant and it goes with my little plant card. But this courage card is we've seen this one before, right? This is allowing for the elements that are present to help with your growth, right? So this little seed that's down in the boulder allowed for the trickle of water to come down and soften its hardened shell. And it allowed for that sunlight it attracted itself to the sunlight, to that sense of growth that is coming. And courage in this situation doesn't mean bravado. It doesn't mean assertive action and being brave. It means it's more of an internal shift, and being willing to grow, just being willing to grow, and then allowing the pieces and the elements that the universe provides to take you in that direction, from this feeling of victimization to a little more empowerment. Like, I can do this. I will focus instead on my growth instead of on the depletion. Then I got Beyond Illusion, and this is a card of true transformation. This, depicted by this butterfly. It's also a highly intuitive card. There's a big energy gathering there in the third eye and on the crown chakra. So this is reminding us that just because we see lack, it doesn't mean that's all there is, right? It's reminding us that just because we create the willingness to change and grow, we really have no idea how far we can take that, how big our growth could be, or what huge transformations can come. So it's knowing that you're willing to make these shifts from lack to fulfillment, and that staying open and staying centered and wizened to the fact that there are elements around me that could help me grow, that could help me move forward. And I really have no idea how it's going to turn out, but I have an inkling, and I want to take all the help I can get to shift this mentality toward abundance. And then I got Power Over Difficulty, reclaiming your power. If you see, there's a snake that's wrapping itself around this woman, and sort of, it's toxicity taking over, right? And that's what lack does. Well, that's what focus on lack does, right? It creates a sort of a smothering energy of, I'll never get out of this. I can't see my way out. This is that point where you say, yeah, I can do this. I'm going to release the hold that this thought of lack has on me, a little bit at a time, right? We don't just get to say, okay, lack mentality be gone, and then you're transformed. But it's an awareness of it. It's an awareness. Every time a thought creeps in and says, you can't, you're not enough, you don't have what it takes, then you reclaim your power. Then you say, I will imagine those thoughts as being a snake that's wrapping itself around me, and I can release myself from it. I can distance myself from it, at least, and get rid of the hold it has over me. The thoughts may not stop coming through, but don't let them take hold and create a resonance within your being, right? And then also consider, where do you contribute to your feeling of disempowerment? Not just with your thoughts, but sometimes with your actions or your words or your interactions with others. Where in your life are you contributing to this sense of, I don't have enough, there's never enough. I, I've suffered loss after loss. I can't keep it, I can't keep, keep things the same. They keep changing and falling away. Shifting that mindset to, that is the nature of life. The nature of life is about death and rebirth and transformation, and we leave things behind and we create new growth. It's the nature of life. That's what our journeys are, right? If you think about your older self, maybe like a preteen self who thought, I don't know, I don't have enough friends. I can never be close to friends, and nobody likes me. We get a lot of those thoughts when we're young, right? Instead of, oh, I have this one golden diamond friend that really gets me and really understands me. Sometimes this is all we need, right? Is to be seen and heard in that way. And that appreciation for that one friend that understands you creates your spirit, creates your path and your growth forward. It creates an openness to, well, if so-and-so likes me, there's got to be more out there, right? I'm just using this as an example, but it is, where do you contribute to that sense of lack? And usually it's either through habit, through repeated thoughts that become a belief, or through disempowering words that you may speak about yourself, right? There are ways that you are confirming and justifying the lack, when you can use that same energy to confirm and justify growth, right? So it's a matter of twisting it a little bit. I got participation to go with that. This is, again, where am I contributing to my disempowerment? And really looking at that and seeing what do I do to keep that feeling of disempowerment in place? And then I got projections, and this is shifting it to the interactions between you and others. Who is putting their fears onto me to make me feel, yeah, the world is just a bunch of lack. The world is out to get me, right? Who is giving you that information, or who are you reflecting with that confirms that? And then I would say, you're getting a clue as to how you participate in that sense of lack, and you have the power to shift it. And then also in reverse, what are you putting on to others? Are you saying, I have very little, or I've lost so much, and I blame it all on you? Are you projecting onto others as well, or is that a reciprocal thing? So it's just this sort of middle point of the reading is an opportunity to assess, right, where this came from. How can I shift it? How can I move toward a more aligned inner being, and a self that can propel me forward instead of hold me in place or hold me in the past. And then we come upon summer solstice. This is your inner light that shines through. This is, from that calming effect and that clarity that lavender brings, your light shines through. The fullness of who you are is to be shared. It's to be displayed in a way through your energy that inspires others, that makes others want to connect with you. That little 12-year-old of yours that said, no one likes me, will show them who you are. And plenty of people will, right? That's kind of this shift that we're making here, from the darkness of lack, the darkness of victimization, working our way through to a better sense of the fullness of our being, and how we can emanate the light that's within us, that can spill onto others and guide us forward. The light also guides you forward on your path. So I love that, because it's really taking ownership from this first starting point of, oh, I don't have nothing, I'm doom and gloom, it's taking ownership that, yeah, I have doom and gloom, but it's my choice how long I want to focus on that. And that helps with these shifts that we're seeking for growth. With that summer solstice, with that radiance card, the card of our inner being and the light that shines, I got awareness. This is that clarity we were seeking through the lavender energy. This is that growth that we were looking for, that bursting through the boulders to really blossom and see things clearly and show up for ourselves. And this is what starts to come through. You know, we go from projections, which is foggy and cloudy and murky because we're not living from our pure radiant light. We're, you know, wrestling with other energies and putting out energies that won't promote our growth, but that just justify our lack. This is a point of clarity when all that lifts, when that murkiness goes away. And that comes just from shining your own light into your space, into your world. And then the other tarot card I got with that is possibilities. So now that you're lighting the way for yourself and acting sort of as a beacon as well for others, you start to see more. You start to see, oh, I could go in this direction, right? This eagle gets the entire vantage point of the entire scene, the whole landscape below, and gets to know, you know, where's the easy path or where's the most fulfilling path? Where are those darker spaces of lack and victimization that I need to avoid? And you start to see many new directions that you could take your life in that moves you further and further away from focusing on what you don't have, right? Creating your own sense of abundance. And then the last oracle card I got is a repeat of the possibilities. They both came out. So this is a hopeful and welcoming of new energy, kind of a vibration. And if you see with her, it's just as open. The eagle soars ahead and has an open access to all of the possibilities that are there. And in this figure, that same openness comes through. It's receiving the guidance, receiving the support that's there, that's always there from the divine, from the collective, the unseen consciousness, whatever word you use, God, whatever word you use, you are receiving that energy because you decided to come through with your light. And it opens, there's an opening happening here. And then the last two cards are sort of like the icing on the cake of this journey. We moved from this darkness of lack to possibilities and openness and forward movement on our path. And the Zen cards I got with that are the source. This is your connection to not only your inner being, which those two kind of remind me of each other. It's a connection to your inner being and also to the creator, to the divine, to all of it, right? And it's staying rooted in that, in the possibility, not staying rooted in, you know, the fight or the comparison or that victim kind of a feeling. And then the last final card is flowering. And I love this because I think this happened in another reading I did. It went from courage to flowering, and those seeds you plant and that willingness you have for growth pays off. It does pay off. So this is a lesson in positive thinking, in gratitude and appreciation, even though we have the very human experience of suffering from lack and loss. We can transform that in time with these suggested steps. And there, of course, are other ways. But in this reading, this is just one path to bring us toward the light and toward growth and forward motion instead of that stuck feeling. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to pull a couple cards. I'm going to pull from this deck, the Sacred Creators. I like that. Since we're in the vibration of creating, of shifting the loss mentality to one of fulfillment, we're actually creating a new path for ourselves in that way. And so I'm going to pull from that deck so we could see where we're at. Okay. Well, I like this. It says, what does your soul say? Inquire, go within, check, ask yourself, ask your inner being, your spirit, your light, what is my best move forward here? What is this focus on loss and lack doing to my inner being? Is it helping me proceed and progress and grow? Listen to your soul. Your soul knows. Our minds take over a lot, but your soul always, always, always knows, right? And then the next card I pulled, speaking of belief, I said belief is just repeated thoughts, right? That establish themselves within us. And I got move beyond intention to belief. So this is taking the energy of belief, which in the beginning we believed in the lack, we believed in this powerlessness, this disempowering feeling. This is all I've got. This is all I'll ever be, because we kept thinking it. Then through this journey, we created a new focus and a way to shift our attention forward. And so now you get to create new beliefs by that, that forward intention, that path that you see for yourself of possibility, repeated, becomes real. It becomes your belief. Now I believe in myself. I believe that when I experience loss or lack, I can transform it. I can feel it. I can grieve. If this is a loss of a person, please do grieve, right? But don't take everything about it personally, and don't let it define you. We can grieve and feel those feelings, and then right ourselves again to forward motion, to creator vibes again. Okay, I think that will do it for now. We moved from nothing to everything in a short 20 minutes or whatever that was. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. I'll see you soon.